World Drum Club. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday Museday. I'm Kalani, your host. We're making a lot of music today. And the theme is elements. We'll get to that later. I'm glad the sound is on. That's all. That's all. That's enough of that. Let's say hello, you guys. Welcome. Yeah, that was a little bit of a journey just to kick things off. Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks, Roseanne, for moderating, mediating, and mediating? Mediating and moderation. Our chat. If you guys are new, say hello. Last week, we checked in and kind of had everybody say where they're from. And this week, I want to invite you to contribute to the conversation about elements. That's our theme today. So my question for you is, what are the elements of music? And there are many. But when you think about music, basically, no, we're talking about elements of music. We're not talking about like air. That's not really that's an element, but that's an element of the earth, of the space. Elements of music meaning like how do we define the things that happen in music? Like I'll give you an example. Like rhythm is one of them, right? So there's music is made up of it. Rhythm is one. What are a few more? And you can put that in the chat. All right, there's a few. I mean, you could take it. We're not going metaphysical with this, you guys. just basic elements of music. And while you're doing that, I do want to just acknowledge that a lot of these instruments that I'm playing today are courtesy of We Play Well Together. WePlayWellTogether.com. They're not paying me to say that. I'm just saying that they provided me with a lot of these instruments, and I just want to say thank you and acknowledge them. This instrument is actually called an element mini Zenko drum, small Zenko. And in today's video that I'm going to play for you, you're going to see the larger Zenko drum. And I have, of course, the hand pan here. They call the space drum. And this is the nitro version. We also have the wooden tongue drum, the tinka-tong. And these are all in D minor. I might get to this later. I've got the kalimba over here. It's hiding. That's the kalimba. I think it's a 9 key. Yeah. And that's all I have right now in front of me. Over here I've got, they also sell a lot of other stuff. I've got the Monolini, which is a small monochord, which I have played in the past. I have a few videos with that. I'm not using it right at the moment. I also have some Native American style flutes, which are right here. You can see, and then some cymbals. I did want to point out one thing that was kind of cool that I discovered. And I have these two little cymbals here, right? You can see them in the overhead. And this is a cup chime, and this is a bell cymbal. Bell. They're different, but they're both by Paiste. And they sound different, but what's cool about these is I just discovered that they go with the tuning of my hand pan, pretty much. And these are not necessarily tuned to any specific pitch, but check this out. Ooh, right? Now listen. It's basically this note, the top note. All right? Pretty close. So it goes with the left side. And then, as if that's not cool enough, it gets better. And then I have this other one. Listen to the pitch. Right? So it's like a step down. Different sound, but different timbre, but basically the pitch is D, ni, right? Na. Whoa. There it is. So this goes kind of with this side. Right? How cool is that, you guys? That is the kind of thing that you discover when you're messing around with your instruments and listening and paying attention. That's just a, what do they call that? A happy accident? Not really an accident. No ambulances were involved. But yet, I thought I was just so excited about that. How often does that happen? And these are not, like I said, these are not pitched cymbals. They don't sell them like buy this D cymbal or buy this C cymbal. No, they just happen to be that. And these are the only two of these that I own. I only own these two chimes and bell cymbals. That's it. All right, so let's look at what we have, the elements of music. And we're going to, looks like Roseanne filled in a lot of them. All right, let's see. So Martello said swing, so that would go in with style or genre. So that relates maybe to rhythm, but also swing, it's more than just rhythm. But yeah, that would be one of the things that we could call style or genre. And then yes, tempo, right? This or what we can call it speed or tempo, or yeah, the rate at which the beats come. Key is definitely one. Like today, I'm sort of in a D minor situation over here, D minor / F major. A mode, yes. Mode refers to a type of key, a type of scale, actually. A collection of notes that have a certain relationship to one another and therefore project a certain quality. Catherine, welcome. Melody and harmony, of course, yes, absolutely. Melody, as you just heard in the flutes, and my attempt at singing, and harmony, which you also heard in the handpans and the tinka-tong, and my attempt at singing. What else? Yeah, timbre. Martello said timbre. That's another one. Timbre refers to the sound quality. And timbre, an easy way to think about timbre is if you have two different instruments and they're playing exactly the same pitch, right, the same note, how can you tell them apart, right? You guys can probably tell the difference between a flute and a trumpet, right? Different instruments, and that's because of the timbre or sound quality. It's also the reason that when a family member or a friend of yours calls you on the phone and you say hello and they say, hey, how's it going? You can pretty much immediately tell it's them. That's also because of the timbre or the quality of their voice. A lot of the qualities, not all, but a lot of the qualities that make up what we call timbre or sound quality have to do with this thing called formants. And formants are related to harmonics. And harmonics are present in most sounds, and the degree to which they are present and their relationship to each other. In other words, how much of this harmonic versus this harmonic are present and kind of stacked up in the sound, that has a lot to do with forming timbre. Not exclusively formants and harmonics, but that has a big part to play. No pun intended. So what are some other elements of music? So let me help you guys out. Some other elements of music. One is form. We have a thing called form, right? And just today I was doing some songs that have an A, B, B form. Also A, B, B, A. So like a sandwich. There's A, B, A. That's very common. All kinds of different forms. There's sonata form, there's arch forms, there's rondo form, all kinds of stuff. You can look that up. And if you're curious, which I hope you are, about the elements of music, you can Google it and see people have probably made lists. And let's see if I'm forgetting any. So let's review. So we'll start with some of the basics. So rhythm, tempo, or speed. We have melody. We have harmony. We have timbre or sound quality. Those are fundamental. Oh, I just thought of one that we didn't mention. Dynamics. Dynamics. And dynamics relate to everything from the music is quiet, right, to the music is loud, and also the music is getting louder, the music is getting softer. That's a dynamic. Also, accents are part of dynamics. So when we play, right, we're accenting, that's also dynamics, right? Any differences or changes in the volume, right? So dynamics is a big one. That's a huge area and something that you can really work and experiment within. We talked about timbre, we talked about form. Also, another word that people use is texture. And texture is a little bit tricky because it sounds like it could be relating to timbre also, but the way it's used, I believe, and most commonly, is to refer to what is happening all at once in kind of a vertical situation. Now, form is what's happening over time, right? Form happens one thing after another. Texture is more like the arrangement of the instruments. And I'm not saying this is official exclusively. I'm just saying I see texture being used that way a lot. The texture is, we've got these low instruments, and then we've got these middle instruments, and then we've got these high-pitched instruments, and they're this kind of instrument. And that all together creates the texture of the music. Whether it's very percussive music or it's singing only, it can be just voices, but all music will have some sort of texture or arrangement, some sort of vertical stacking of elements. Like I just had here with the looper. I've got 5 channels here and I'm filling them up with stuff, and all of that creates the texture. And then I can change the texture by muting things or lowering the volume and playing with the mixer. All right, so I brought that up today in one way to just have an educational component, but I also want to invite you, when you improvise and when you make music, and when you're thinking about what could I do differently with the music I'm making, well, pick an element of music and explore that. It could be exclusively like just rhythm, or just timbre, or just dynamics, right? You could pick one sound and explore dynamics. Let's take the cymbal, and it's kind of difficult actually to just isolate. But let's just say I have a very simple sound. and I'm playing with dynamics. I'm also really doing rhythm, aren't I, at the same time? I guess if I just kept the rhythm very steady, I could just do dynamics. But it's so tempting to break it up. So playing a ride cymbal is dynamics and rhythm, usually together. It could also be timbre. And the nice thing about percussion, of course, is that if we use a different implement, we get a completely different effect. All right, so that's just one instrument, right? One sound. And what's nice about this as a way to kind of develop your own musicality is that it puts in what we call play rules, right? Play rules are like the lines of a court that you're playing a game on, or the board, like the chess board or the checkers board. It gives you the structure, and it sets limits, and those are good. It's good to have limits on what you have available to play with and where you can play, in other words, because then you can have a game. Then you can play. If you can't play a game with no rules and no limits, no boundaries, otherwise it's just not a game. It's just a free-for-all. Or the rules keep playing, right? The rules keep changing, and then you don't want to play because you're changing the rules, right? You guys had that conversation when you were kids, maybe. So having a set of rules and having boundaries and having limits on what's available to us to work with, it actually helps bring out creativity. You can think of it in terms of visual art. Let's say some of you draw or you make things, different kinds of artwork. Well, let's just say, as many people have, I'm only going to work with this clay, or I'm only going to draw with this blue pen today, or blue in general. I think there was a famous artist that did that for a while. So setting limits is good. Setting limits pushes us to use the elements that we have available to us in purposeful and maybe sparing and creative ways, because we're not just spraying everything everywhere all the time. That sounds weird. Right? But it makes us be creative because we have limited resources. So I would recommend doing that, you guys, when you play or you practice. And this goes for anything you do, really. It's not just music. Create within limitations. And then the other big benefit of that is you focus on, say, one element like rhythm or timbre, and you deepen it. You go deeper and you explore it. You're not just playing, oh yeah, I hit the cymbal. I can play the cymbal. I've got a cymbal right here. I'm just going to hit it because that's all I do. You can spend some time with the cymbal and really get in there and find out the nuances, find all the little sounds, and you can have a whole piece of music with just a cymbal, right? It's amazing. Really awesome. So that goes for every single instrument. And then when you come back and you start combining or you start playing with other people, wow, now you've got some subtlety, you've got a lot more musicality, you've got a lot more sensibilities and sensitivities that you can draw from, and you've spent time kind of digging into these different elements of music, and I think that's the way to go, rather than only just learning pieces, right, or recreating different rhythms. Nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. I'm saying do this in addition to doing that. Don't only, think of an instrument as, this instrument I just do this on, right? Or this instrument is just for this style of music. Push, 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 push out. All right? And then if you want, as another element theme, you can gain inspiration. You can use the elements that are out there. Like these are the water sounds. That's why it's blue. These are dubbed the aqua set. Now, of course, these are not directly related to water. Water doesn't have anything to do with these. But it was the idea of water for the D minor set. And we call that referential music making. And you all can do this if you haven't already. Is you can use an element like earth or fire or air or water or anything, any subset of that, like the ocean or rain or clouds or the sky or whatever it is, the stars. And of course, and many artists do, use them for inspiration. So you can emulate whatever qualities you think those elements represent. You can represent that or imitate it or conjure up some sounds in your music that connect those things according to you. This is not a objective thing we're talking about right now. We're talking about the subjective artistic side of what it means to be a musician, an artist. So that's you with creative license, total creative license to do anything you want. You're just using the idea of whatever that is to inspire you to create something. All right, like Martello says, to create scenarios or scenes or feelings or snapshots or Beethoven did this a lot, right? And we can call that a program or in fact I think it's the, Sixth Symphony is the Pastoral, I believe, or Pastoral, where he's really imagining settings or scenes. Also pictures at an exhibition, Mussorgsky, and the orchestral piece arranged by Maurice Ravel. Pictures at an exhibition, amazing, using ideas, little snapshots of nature or nature scenes or life scenes around, the town or whatever, as an inspiration for music. And of course, that's happened in so many instances throughout history. Artists do that. All right, let's see. I just want to say hello to you guys. Rebecca is here, Christina, Martello, Roseanne, of course, and Cornelius. Welcome, you guys. It's good to see everybody. And and Chris. All right. Let's move on. I want to play a video for you guys. And I'm not going to play the whole thing because this is just it's a longer video, but I wanted to show you a play-along music video that I created with the Zenko drum, which is the larger version of this, right? This is a small Zenko, baby Zenko, the baby turtles, they call them. And this video, I published a while ago. It's maybe coming up on a year and a half, 2 years. And I believe it's on the channel. It's at least on the Patreon. I know it's on the Patreon side. And you're going to see some numbers. I just want to let you know what the numbers are. The numbers are the chords of the scale of the key. So I think in this one you see a 1 and a 4 and a 1 and a 5. And that means the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 1 chord, and the 5 chord. So this uses 3 chords. And you could just pay attention to that. And there's like kind of a little light thing that happens behind the number. Hopefully you can see that in the video. And that's when that chord is playing. And see if you can track that. And I'm going to play a minute or two of this. It goes on for 6 or 7 minutes. And you'll see me, and I think this has a weird cartoon-like comic book effect on it. I had fun with the video editing. So let me play that, and we'll be back on the other side. And then if you have any questions, I'll answer them. All right. So that was a little bit of that, and I hope you guys were able to see. It was kind of hard to see the little light thing behind the numbers. I was trying to make it subtle, but hopefully you could hear it. And incidentally, that chord progression of 1 4 1 5, it happens a lot in, I think the style is high life. It's a like West African, like Zimbabwe mbira music and marimba music. If I had an ukulele tuned up handy, I would play it for you. Actually, let me play I have the melody in here, which I haven't played in a while. Let me just grab it. Because you guys have all heard this progression. In the video, it's kind of slow, but let me just play it for you a little bit quicker, and then you'll see. All right, you guys know that, right? You've heard that a bunch. Really fun, really super fun progression. So what I did to create, I'm distracting myself with the resonant, my voice is making all these things resonate. I'm like, what does that sound? It's pretty interesting to have all these cymbals and metal things right in front of you. So, distraction, right? What I did with that is I just figured out the notes on the Zenko, and you can do this with any of these instruments. For example, you could write them down, you just go through, right? Most of these instruments have a scale of some sort. They may not be in a certain order always the same, like this one is a little different. You have to kind of find out where the notes are. But once you do that, once you get a map of the notes, then you can just analyze it and figure out which notes are in which chords or would fit in each chord, in different chords. And then that gives you a way to, again, use the idea of play rules. And let me give you an example. In this overhead view, if I go through these notes, let me see, starting here, right? Like this could be a chord. These two notes here, and then I can go over here on the left side. That could be a chord, and then I go up one here on the right. And then the same thing on the left, up again. And then back to the right. Right? And you could hear there that there's a certain, it's like a certain chord progression, certain ones of those notes will fit with certain chords. Now I'm not saying that every instrument will have all the chords that you could ever want available, no. But you can zero in on a few sets of notes and create a chord with just those notes. And that's really the idea that I wanted to leave you with, or impart upon you today, is that even with instruments like the handpan that seem kind of random when you're playing it, or the tinkatong, like this instrument, you see there's just like all these different notes, right? And so the tendency is just to kind of like play them all, hit them all. But if you go through, let me get the mallet. If you go through and you listen, see, now that's not a chord really, because that's just a step apart. But actually, that could be a chord, sorry. These are sort of close together, so I wouldn't put those in the same chord unless I was doing jazz. But these could definitely be. Right? And then you just experiment. So there's another couple that are kind of like a chord. boy, this one is a little challenging to find all the chords. But I think you can find at least 2 or 3 different chords. And then you can do what I did in my looping, which was to play, kind of focus on one chord and then the other chord. And then one chord and then the other chord. Let me play you what I was doing. Let me see if it's still here. This is one chord, other chord, right? And then the cymbals. And you don't have to know which chord it is. I don't actually know what those chords are. I just know that they sound good, they sound different, and they're kind of one step apart. You know, they're just one's a little higher. I haven't gone through and analyzed them. All right, Shaman Zito, welcome. So that's all. So you guys just, you know, this is about listening. It's about using, in this case, the element of music of harmony, which can start off as melody when you're playing something like a handpan or zenko or tingatong or the flute. But then you can think more harmonically, which means just picking notes that go together in kind of a set, right? And then you play those notes, and then you play the other notes. And that's another way you can think about an instrument, like a basic instrument, is just find some notes that you feel like go together, play those on one side of the phrase, and then just play all the other notes on the other side. And then pick and choose, you know, over time. It's experimental. This is all experimental, and I think it's a fun aspect of making music, is just trying things out and experimenting. Okay, so that is what I have to say about that. Let's skip ahead. I think I have a Yanni photo for you guys. Check it out. Let me see. Is it here? Yes, it is. All right, in this, you can tell which, maybe you can't tell which one is Yanni. No, I know you can't. For 2 reasons. One, the hair, the beautiful hair, the mustache, the profile, and the white clothing. That is Yanni on the right. And then Tom is was our sound guy on the road. And that's Yanni and Tom. We like to call them Tani. No, we didn't. But they're at the mixing board. And so that's kind of relevant because we were just talking about mixing sounds, and we were talking about timbre and formants and then mixing and matching sounds to create texture. So I don't know, this was just a photo I had. I thought that I would just share it with you guys. Give you a little behind the scenes. So that's from one of the tours. Let me see what's next. I think it is a community announcement. Yes. Drum Club Hangout. And I have the correct time this week. Second and fourth Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. That is for our patrons at any level. And that will be coming up this Sunday, because it will be, I believe, the second Sunday. But you guys, if you want, join us over at Patreon, patreon.com/Kalani. I hope all you guys that are coming to this every week are patrons. If you're not, I'm only going to make you feel a little guilty about that. But really, yeah, if you want to dig in, if you appreciate, you're welcome to come by here anytime, of course, guilt-free. But Roseanne is a patron, Course's patron. I know a couple other people here are as well. And we just do stuff, we try to give more to the patrons and do some more interactive things. And I try to push you guys to explore and do more. And I bring in artists, and I bring in other people. Which reminds me, before we get into the latter part, we need to get there soon, to our Gimme 5 thing. I've got an event coming up online. Now, it is a native flute event, so it's not so much drumming stuff. But if you guys are curious about the native flute, or if you're playing the native flute, I'm super excited about this. The event is called Bloom, and it's happening May 6th and 7th. It's the weekend before Mother's Day. And I've got 3 amazing artists, Suzanne Tang, Rana Yellow Robe, and Shelley Morning Song. 3 amazing people and Native American style flute artists. They're each going to be sharing and showing and teaching 2 original songs each for the Native American style flute. They're going to be there both days, Saturday and Sunday, in the first part of the day. And then we're going to rebroadcast it for people that sign up. So don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll make sure that you get to see it even if you can't be there live. But we will be live in the mornings each day, Saturday, Sunday. And it'll be awesome. And you get to interact, meet them. And it's all about spring. It's all about the big mother, the big mother. Mother Earth, motherhood, Mother Nature, honoring creativity, and just it's all about kind of opening up like the economy. It's everything about springtime. So yeah, so if you want to check it out, I'll have, I don't have a link below yet, but you can go to Eventbrite and look it up. And right now, so I just told you guys about this, but actually I'm really only sharing it with, we're kind of sharing it with our inner circles right now. So I count you guys as the inner circle because you show up here for Tuesday Museday. And the reason we're doing that, and we're doing it for you, our peeps, is because we have tiered pricing, and once the lower cost tickets are gone, that's it. So there's a certain number of tickets at each of the 3 prices. That's all. So we're giving our people like first shot at the. So you can choose the price you want. Now some people, I've got people who actually paid the high price, and thank you for that. You could pay the high price if you want. That's just more money for us. So maybe consider that. But we wanted to give you guys a deal to sign if you sign up early, and but there are a limited number. So maybe Roseanne has the link, or you can dig it up and put it in the chat. I'll put it in the video after, though. All right, let's go on. And we're kind of doing, let me see what I have on here. Do I have, no, that's that. And then we've got Gimme 5. Oh, right, because I don't have a Q&A slide right now. I'm just going to use the Gimme 5 slide. But let's do kind of Q&A and Gimme 5 together right now. We've got about 12 minutes left, so we'll do a little short 2 minutes to get into our Gimme 5 wrap-up jam piece. So again, Gimme 5 is one of you. You guys choose 5 instruments, 5 sounds, 5 timbres for me to use, and I'll loop them to the best of my ability. And we'll have a piece of music that you instigated. You're kind of like the producer in a way, You're saying, let's have a piece with these instruments. And if you want to suggest a style, you can. That's fine. No problem. So we've got the cajon down here. You can't see it, but I'm sitting on it. We've got cymbals. I'm not going to include the cymbals as one instrument. We've got the handpan, obviously, the tinkatong. We got all these melodic instruments. We've got the Native American style flute. I've got some percussion stuff. I've got this block, a shaker, rattle. We do have the. I don't use this as much because it's a little hard to amplify. But this is the kalimba, right? It's nice for kind of more mellow pieces or whatever. So that's available. So pick 5 things. We've got the Baby Zenko. And maybe pick a tempo, like slow, medium, fast. You could pick kind of a vibe. I mean, whatever adjectives or words you want to put in there. This is for you. And if you want to dedicate it to someone or a group of people or a cause or just whatever, it's up to you. If you want, you can do a dedication if you want, and that'll be that. All right, so any questions right now while that's happening? And then put that in the chat, right? I think you guys know. Thank you, Gina, for your message, and appreciate that. I'm not going to read everything. I know somebody last week said, "Oh, it'd be good if you could read the question out for people that are listening," but you can see the stuff in the chat. And I will read some questions, but that was a compliment. So that was for me, not for you. Lacey, I don't have the train whistle right here. So yeah, I know we mentioned that before. Let's make that a note for next time, and I will try to dig up the train whistle. I got to go rummage through some cases to find that. Cornelius wants to know, what audio interface am I using when I record into my digital audio workstation? So I either use the QSC Touch mixer, which I'm going through right now. I actually find that this thing is really good. It's clean. It has good audio. I would be okay using that. Mostly I use a Focusrite Claret. What is it called? It's the red one. Focusrite, little 2-channel. I don't want to get the name wrong, but I think it's a Claret Pre. Yeah. And that's also excellent. I use that. And then if I ever get around to it, I might hook up, I have an Avalon tube mic pre. I think it's a 1705 or something. It's like the one all the studios use, big, heavy, old school, gigantic tube mic preamp. And that thing is pretty awesome. It introduces a little bit of noise, but if I really wanted to do like vocal or maybe flutes or something and have it be like that big studio sound, I'd probably use that one in conjunction with one of the ones I mentioned. Okay. Yeah, Martello, that's right. He was mentioning the kalimba. Yeah, so sometimes what I do with the kalimba is he's saying you got to put it on top of something to boost the sound. That is true. And sometimes I just discovered that I could put it on the handpan, but often what I'll do is put it like on, this box works really well, the back of the Tinkatong. You can put it there. It's hard to hold though. See how much louder it is? Because it's just sitting on there. Now if I take it off and put it on. Yeah, so any kind of resonation chamber really helps. It'll also, though, if I am careful, I could put it on the handpan. And then it's got a little bit of rock and roll distortion. How about that? Because it's the same note. There's notes right there. Yeah. All right, what else do we have? Yeah, the baby handpan thing is pretty cool. We're still looking for a set of 5 things. Martello has a set. Last call. You got to put all your 5 things together, though. Roseanne can't go around reading all your stuff if you put them in different posts. Sorry, you guys. You got to, put them all together in one shot. All right. Well, we're good anyway. Martello, cajon, native flute, handpan, rain stick, chimes. That can happen. And when you say the chimes, are you talking about the Koshi chimes? Hopefully. Let me see. Oh, like these right here that I have hanging above my head. Is it this chime or different chimes? These are awesome, aren't they? Ooh. I just played the cymbal with the chimes. Why not? See, if I was doing that in a show, I wouldn't even don't wince, and then people are like, oh my God, that was so cool. Did you see what he did? So I'm kind of feeling something mellow maybe coming up. All right. Well, while we're waiting for the final word on the chime, I'm going to get I'm gonna get my click track thing going. And this is gonna be quick, you guys. I gotta go in and make dinner. So yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock here. I'm on dinner duty. So I'm gonna play. We're gonna have some music. And yeah, let's do it. Time's a wasting. So I'm gonna slow this down a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, just a little. Kind of liking that. Oh, yes. Let me turn the mics down a little. Here we go. right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Go to stay on the World Drum Club channel, and make sure you subscribe, hit the bell like I just did, so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks to Roseanne for everything you're doing to keep everything going. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Martello for selecting the instruments today. Thanks for We Play Well Together for providing a lot of these instruments. And to all of you for showing up. That's what we need to do always, right? Is just show up. Show up. The rest will take care of itself. See me over at patreon.com/Kalani if you want to connect more and get more and do more for yourself. Treat yourself to music, to education, to inspiration. And maybe I'll see some of you at the Bloom event coming up. I'll be talking about that each week. Don't worry. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.
World Drum Club.